Hi, in this video I am going to play around with 5 years of parking citations. Now this is data that was received by a data request from Miami University Parking Services, and I have seen other runs from this database that will also include the amount of the fine for the various offenses, but this data run does not include that. But it has 5 years worth of parking tickets issued by Miami authorities, and that is, I don't know, thousands and thousands of tickets. Let's see here. Many thousands of tickets. Okay, so going over the columns here, the ticket is just a ticket number, a unique ID for each parking ticket. The state is the license plate of the tag, the license plate of the car that got the ticket. And here in this violation column are all the different things people got tickets for. Now, I'm going to put on our handy filters. And so we can see that this spreadsheet not only covers data from the Oxford campus, which is this OXF, there's also parking tickets from the Hamilton campus, HAM, and Middletown here. And then also there's a number of warnings that were issued. And so for some purposes, we'll probably disregard warnings because people are sort of happy when they get a warning and they're angry when they get a citation. So, all right. Location. Okay, this identifies all the various areas where parking officials give, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. Yeah, different places, different lots in town. And then the violation date. And it's going to be helpful that this is actually formatted as a date. And so I am going to make sure that's the case. Nope. And just taking a minute here. Oh, there we go. All right. And so now it knows it's a date. And before it was just formatted as general, I think. Okay. So I'm not going to go over the review questions here, but I thought I would do, well, let's play around and do a line chart, see how many tickets were issued over time. So I'm going to click on the corner here, and we are going to be summarizing with a pivot table, because we're basically counting the number of tickets given on each date. So, violation date in the rows, and then I will count the number of citations. Whoops. And notice how after we pulled down this violation date here, our pivot table added this quarter field and this years field, as it did down here too. And right here on the table, it's going to allow us to drill down and look at summary by year, summary by quarter, and then all the way down to month. And because we're going to try to do a best job possible, we're going to summarize. Let's do a line chart that looks at it that summarizes the data by month. And one reason why month is better than doing it, can be better than doing it just every day of the week, is because you have those great fluctuations on Sundays where there are no tickets given, and that makes for a very messy chart. So it does help to summarize the data to a certain extent. Now, what we can do if we want to pluck the data from this chart is just open this up all the way till we get down there, and then copy and paste onto an interface we like better. You can take the quarters out too, that will help. Okay, this is better. Now notice, if we were to simply copy and paste special this just for the values, we'd have to do a little cleanup again because there are these subtotals in here. And in this case, it is probably easiest just to do this graph. Let's try doing this graph just right off of the pivot table. Which is not something I normally recommend, but let's see if it works. All right, look at that. Very lumpy, right? It looks like it just summarized by year here. But look at that. We can open it up and it will update it and do it live right there. Now this is pretty klutzy, obviously, because it doesn't let you edit your chart the way real, where'd it go? Oh, here it is. The way real graphic design software would. But gotta admit, it's pretty cool. Now, the reason all these months aren't populated here is because there just aren't room for them in this chart size. And as I pull it out, it should resize so all the months become available. Maybe it just doesn't bother labeling them all. Let's see. Low in June. All right, so there's a line graph of 5 years of Miami parking data. Now, the next thing I wanted to show you was, let's say we wanted to look at how many tickets there were each day of the week. How many tickets are given Monday? How many tickets are given Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, etc. And so there are many different ways we can do that, and I am going to show you. I'm going to show you two right now. One way we can figure out day of the week from date, and we can see that day of the week is already embedded in date, is to use a function. And if you want to kind of figure out which function to use, you can use Google and ask Google, you know, how do I get a weekday out of a date in Excel or something? I happen to know that the function is called weekday. And so it's just like any other function, although for this function, it has to refer to a date. And you're telling it the equal sign tells Excel that you're writing a function equals weekday There we go. And it returned a 1. And if you do Google the weekday function, I should have done that on my computer here, it'll tell you what it does is return a 1 for Sunday, a 2 for Monday. See, 1 is Sunday, 5 is Friday. So, hope that makes sense. It converts each day of the week, starting with Sunday from 1 to 7. And it'll match up if you look there. So that's one way you can do it. You can use this weekday function. And then, you know, I guess you sort of have to remember that Sunday is 1. And then another way we could do this, get the day of the week separate from the date. Well, you know what, I will finish doing it this way first. So after you do that, right, we can highlight it, data, summarize with pivot table. Okay. So we have a new pivot table sheet here. And my new column showed up. And that in the rows. So that's Sunday through Saturday. Count of tickets. And for this one, I'm actually going to do it right. Paste special values. I'm going to be like, oops. Insert chart. And for this one, I like this up and down thing because it looks like a calendar, right? And there's sort of the weekly pattern over these 5 years.